Hi Stitchers! It's Catherine Stitching in Costume coming to you with Flosstube number 9. This is going to be my sampler WIP parade. Welcome in, and if you're returning, I really appreciate you coming back, and if you're new, welcome to the crazy. Okay, I'm going to be trying to go through all of the samplers that I have planned for September, which is coming up in a few days here, and I've been working really hard trying to get things kitted up and ready to show you so that yeah, you can be a part of it too if you want to follow along. And hopefully if you're on Instagram, you might be posting for Sampler September or following that hashtag Sampler September or Sampler September Soiree. It was started last year, I believe, by Senorita Stitches, who I believe is Veronica. And she started this hashtag so that people could post about their samplers. And I think Sampler September Soiree is specifically for historical samplers. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that is the case. So I've got all of my things put together, and I'm gonna start by saying, let me show you my finishes. So I have 2 finishes I'm gonna show you. One moment here. Okay, so I have, the first one I have is a freebie by Samplers and Santas, I believe, and it is a pair. It's called Sampler Pair number 3, and you can go onto the website, and I will link that below, or I will put it on screen here so you can go find it yourself. I did this in sulky threads on a 32 count vintage country mocha. It was the first time I had used that, and I was going to do it all in red, and then I got a little revved up with the color, as I do, and I completed that. So it was a really quick stitch, and this is something that I would do in the evening. So yay, finish. And I used 1 strand of sulky over the 2 linen threads, and the top, the orange part, is actually pumpkin pie, I believe, by Gentle Arts, and I used 2 strands of floss to do the 16 leg eyelets. So very cute, and I was gonna make it into a little stuffed pear, but I have yet to figure out how to do that, so that's on the menu. Next, big finish for me, but it's not that big, is Stanwick Sampler. And this is by Historical Sampler Company, and I have been working on this for quite a while. No reason in the world why I didn't have it finished before. It is on a 25 count linen, and I did it 1/1. That's why it took me a lot longer, is really adjusting to the 1/1. And it was a challenge, but Jean Farish Needleworks has a fantastic 1/1 tutorial. I've mentioned that before, and it really helped me understand how to approach 1/1 in a way that made a lot more sense. So I used all the called for threads, flosses, and yeah. And it was, yeah, I said 25 count. I think it's a Zweigart. I just got it at Hobby Lobby. Very happy to have that finished, and I thought I was finished. I was on a Zoom call with a friend of mine, and I was trying to really push over the finish line, and I said, I'm done, and I grabbed it, and no, I wasn't quite done. There were these little doodads, but anyway, I love it. I don't know really what I'm going to do with it. I'll frame it most likely, but I'm just happy to have that completed. Yeah, I was telling her, it gives you confidence when you complete something. It's like, yes, maybe I am going to finish this big stack of stuff that I have going on. Okay, so let's see here. Let me jump right in. I'm going to show you really quickly. I would like to share. I had a giveaway on my last Flosstube, and I did a random comment picker, and I grabbed those. I brought them up, and I just want to. I just would like to say that I don't really do a lot of giveaways to just boost up subscribers. I really want to share things with you. I like to spread the love. I find things at the thrift store that I know are out of print. Sometimes I feel bad about sharing them. So randomly here and there, I'm going to be sharing that with you guys. So the first thing I have here is this first giveaway was this incomplete chart. So unfortunately, I found it and it didn't have everything in it, but it does have the little seasoned samplers, and I believe there's a wedding sampler and this band sampler on the front. It's kind of like from there down. Anyway, this goes to Cheryl H, and I will insert the names as I go. So Cheryl H, please comment or leave me a message through stitchingandcostume@gmail.com, and I will get this out to you. And the next one is the Cricket Collection. It's a nice cardstock, and it's called Woolen Sheep. And this one goes to Eva Eslami. And Eva, thank you so much for commenting. And this goes to you. Just let me know what your address is and I'll mail that right out. And the last one, this adorable prairie schooler, goes to Olivia B. Who I love to watch. Thank you for commenting, Olivia. I'm so excited to be getting this to you as well. Olivia loves Halloween. Okay, let me go. Let me jump in here. So, one thing I wanted to talk about really quickly are floss drops. Now, I'm really excited about Michelle, Mama Loves You GB, is hosting or started the hashtag, The Great Floss Drop Trade. And she created these floss drops off, I think it was Vistaprint she used, and that's what I used. There are different ways you can get business cards printed up, basically. So she ingeniously printed up these business cards and punched holes in them, and they're beautiful floss drops. They're great cardstock. So she put this trade out there, so I'm jumping in, and I have my little cards right here. That's the image I chose, and I have my name and just my stitching and costume on the back and floss in case you want to use silk. I do that. So there you go. If you're interested in trading floss drops with me, just send me an email and or go to Instagram and Instant Messenger and let me know your address, and I will send out 10 cards to you. And I know some people are worried about the cost of shipping, and I understand that. So if you want to just keep it within your country and make it more affordable, I totally understand. But I'm happy to send this anywhere in the United States. And if you are really, interested and you live outside the United States, let me know, and I'm happy to work something out and trade with you. We'll find a way to do it. Okay, so floss drops. All right, I'm going to jump in. These are in no particular order. These are all of the samplers that I have going on. I have other WIPs, but I'm going to be working on samplers for Sampler September. And what I'm going to try to do is I usually stitch in the morning and I stitch in the afternoon. So I'm going to do like an AM, PM kind of a rotation, and I hope to plan it all out before I even take my first stitch on sampler on September 1st. But we'll see. I'm not a big rotation fan, so I usually just do what I feel like doing. But I really feel like there's a lot of things I want to start, and I'm not going to finish them if I don't start them. So I need to get going. So big one, the first one I'm going to, and these are all in the bags. I don't want to take them and separate them because I'm going to lose them if I do that. So I'm trying to unzip them, but there might be a little bit of wrestling. I'm going to do my best. Big one, I know, I'm doing his eyes on the sparrow, but this is considered the lilies. I went to Needle in a Haystack specifically to get the flosses for this. I got them all, I kitted it up, and I'm ready to go with that. So let me show you what my fabric looks like. I have a 36 count. It's Silk Weaver. What is it called? Sandcastle. It's Sorry, I'm making all these faces. And you're gonna hear me use the word love for the next 30 minutes or so. I really do love all of these things, but look at these flosses. Whew. Put them on. I haven't done anything but put these on the floss drop and grab that. So I'm ready to go for that. And that is going to be definitely started September 1st. And I think Brenda Sampler Stitcher, I believe she is going to be starting this too. So I'm excited to be starting this along with her. And I don't know how often I'm going to be working on it during September, but I'm going to get a start on it. So, yay. Loved it since I saw it. Love. Okay, my next one. This one I have had going. So some of these are WIPs already. Some of them are not kitted, but some of them are already going. Traditional samplers, and this is called the Tenderheart Sampler. And I'm doing this on, what is this? This is a 40 count, I believe. Silk Weaver. No, one moment. Hold please. Sometimes I put it on here. 40 count Dusty Road by Seraphim. Glad I look at that. And these are my flosses. And this was something that I just did a floss conversion for. So I looked at this and then I tried to match it as, you know, as well as I could. Okay, I'm gonna move along, and I'm having fun with that. And haven't really worked on it a lot since I showed it last time, but that is coming out for September. This one I just started. I started this last night. And it's out of this book by Blackbird that lucky, I know, I'm lucky. The thrift store is where I found this one. And I'm doing this right here. So it's called Cozy Nights, but the name of the sampler is the Poinsettia Sampler. And I'm using a DMC 815 that is in a floche. And I've had this in my stash, and I wasn't really sure. I think I got it to do eyelets for a costume. And so I pulled out this really funky kind of, I think it was a lamb's wool that I coffee dyed. I dunked it in coffee, or I put it outside in a big cup with some coffee grounds. And anyway, I got a start on it last night, and that's as far as I've gotten. It's delightful to stitch on this project. It goes pretty quickly. So yeah, that's usually an evening. And so this will be like my PM kind of stitch. Usually in the morning is when I do my stand-up stitching in my green room. And I usually work on the bigger things, the things that are on long scroll frames. Okay, this one here is Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird Designs. And this one is being done on 36 count Legacy by Picture This Plus. And this is all the called for, so I believe this is the called for fabric. And I'm using the called for flosses. And that is as far as I've gotten. I don't think I've made a lot of progress, whoops, on that. I'm gonna have to pick that up. I'll be right back. So that's where I am on that. Clipping along. Back in the bag. And yeah, I've got to keep these things in the bag or I'm going to have stuff everywhere. I've actually filmed this once before and something happened. So here I am again. So let's see. Let's to Alice Sarah Dennis. This is by Mill on the Floss sampler. Beautiful Adam and Eve. And originally was going to leave this off, decided I was going to do it. I'm doing this on, this is on a 32 count. Let me see if I have it written on here. Oh, I dyed this myself. So I got a huge piece of, I believe it was just a a cream linen, and I dyed it with some tan RIT, and I know somebody was asking if I would consider doing a tutorial. I'm happy to do that. I can't do that this month because I just have so much stitching that I would like to do. But I might be able to give you a different, my perspective on how I actually go about looking at the dyes and approaching it. Sometimes what you see on the outside of the bottle or the name of the color of the dye doesn't really turn out the way you thought it was going to. So I have ways that I can kind of play with that and modify it. If you're interested, I'm happy to do that at some point. But this is where I am with this, and I am doing my own conversion with it. I started off using all the DMC that they called for, and then I just jumped in and did something else. Actually, am I converting it? I don't think I am. Oh, not this one. This is all the same DMC that she calls for. And yes, the historical samplers, this was my first one that I had picked up, and it was a learning experience for me, to say the least. When I started doing the border and realized that they weren't symmetrical, and they change up, and so for me, I remember sending her a message, the designer, and said, "Did you mean for these leaves to not actually be correct?" Or anyway, she was very, very nice and responded to me, "That is how the little girl stitched it." I was like, "Oh, that's what a reproduction is." Yeah, now I get it. Okay, on to reproductions. This is a modern folk embroidery. Genius Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery. I love this so much. Well, oh gosh, here I go with the love. And I kitted this. I started to play with pull threads last night, so I spent quite a bit of time. Kitting does take time, right? Especially if you're not just grabbing stuff and following, or just ordering all the flosses and going from your stash and looking through and matching what the DMC called for and maybe what you have or what you have in a specialty floss. So anyway, I grabbed some flosses that I liked that worked with this 37 count. It is Wild Honey by Legacy Linen. I really like this linen. It has a great hand and it's quite a big piece. So let me pull it up here. It's really big. I think I clearly won't need all of that for this. It's a 115 by 204. It's not huge. So that's going to be really fun to start something that I'm going to be able to see progress on pretty quickly. Because I have so many like epic big pieces that I really want to start, or that I have started, that I'll show you in a sec. So there we go for that. Yeah, that is that's been in my stash for a while, wanting to come out and play. Okay, I was watching Scott Stitches in Spain, and he says, I feel like I should be talking the whole time I'm moving, and he said he didn't say uncomfortable, but waiting for some, as somebody's putting something away. And I feel that way too. Like when I'm putting stuff away, I feel like I should be talking to you, but I also don't want to make a mistake and put something in the wrong bag or have it fall on the floor, which I've done. So hang in there, hang tight. Look at that. Another mill on the floss. This one just hit it out of the park for me. When I saw this, I was like, oh, I had to run over and get it. I have a 36 count vintage Maritime by Lakeside, which is gorgeous, and I have not kitted the flosses yet. I was going to run to Michael's or Joanne or something and get DMC for this, but I have yet to do that. So that is gonna happen tomorrow. I think I'm gonna be able to go do that. I guess I do have one. I have one floss in there, some needlepoint silk that I had from somewhere I thought might work, but we'll see. I mean, you know, it all gets down to what works on the linen. Sometimes the called for just doesn't work for what you have in mind, linen-wise. And oh, Hands Across the Sea. And this is called G Rammage or Rammage. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. And I think this is known as the Scottish Temperance Sampler. Scottish Temperance Sampler. Wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging. Yay. So this is the DMC. And I believe I changed out this one. I'm not sure. Oh, it was more the one that the DMC that I had that it called for looked oranger to me. And I wanted something that worked better with my linen. And I wanted it to look more like a gold picture frame around it. So that's why I went with that. And oof, look at that. I would be so happy if this was my thumbnail. That's beautiful. Look at that. So yeah, this was one of those that I got, and it's one of the you know, the spiral bound. This is my first spiral bound, so I'm really I got it, and I wanted to start it immediately, and I had to kind of sit on my hands, and I'm waiting. I'm being very good until September. That is on the menu. Next up, Home for the Holidays from Blackbird Design, and I believe this one has got, yeah, this is Christmas Garden. Let me see if I can find it really quick. I should have marked it. Christmas Garden is something that I started last year, I believe, and I know there's a sale going on right now. That's what it will look like. And I know some people are leaving off this part and just continuing the border underneath, but I'd already stitched the border, so I'm all in. I have to do the border. I'm doing the border, and that's where I am on it. And I had, I believe this is called Queen Bee. It's by Classic Colorworks, and I thought it was really going to read well on the Vintage Pearled Barley. This is a 36 count, and I'm stitching 1/2, and I thought it was going to pop, but it didn't. And I had it all stitched here, so I ripped it out. And let me just tell you, so sometimes, you know, I had it sitting for a long time, and it was languishing because I had stitched all of that border underneath the deer in that gold color, the yellow color, and I didn't like it, and it didn't pop enough for me. And so it just sat there, and I felt bad, but I didn't want to pick it up because I knew I was going to have to rip it out. So what I finally ended up doing was taking out, I don't know, somebody said this, to take out a little bit at a time and then stitch. Take out a little bit and stitch. So that's what I did. I kind of inchwormed across, and then now I'm back in love. I love it again. And I know that there is a sale going on for this. I think Kim, the Contented Stitcher, was telling me about that. So I can't remember. I think it's September 1st. I think people are going to be starting this. So I don't know if I'll pull it out on September 1st, but definitely it's coming out in September for lots and lots of love. Boy, wouldn't that be great? Yes, I'm all open and receptive to finish that before Christmas. Okay, this is the only haul I have to show you. I could not resist. Land That I Love bag from Teresa Gutt. You can get this on her website. She actually has it through another party, and someone else actually makes the bag, another company, but you can purchase it through her website. It was really affordable. I think it was under $15 delivered, and very cute. Just you can get either a black zipper or pull or white, and so that's what I chose. And in here I have Stacy Nash, I think Rose Cottage Pin Keep. I don't have fabric put with it yet, but I do have the DMC purchased and ready to go. So I just need to go through my stash. I think a 36 count will work really well with that one. Okay, let's see, what else do I have here? Did those two. I've kind of got a system here. I'm trying to put things to the right and grab from the left. Janethwaites. So this is Rebecca Hedgerow stitching. A lot of you know is doing. She's doing historical reproductions. I love this one so much. I got the flosses to go with it. I just have not pulled a fabric, but I have a piece of fabric that is a 40 count. It was white and it says Weigart, and I put it in some coffee grounds. So that is that's cooking outside. So what I do is I get like a soup container, one of those plastic soup containers, and I stuff it in there. I get it wet, I stuff it in, and then I just add a bunch of coffee and coffee grounds on top of it, and I just let it sit for a couple of days, and then you know, it always washes out a little bit. It gets a lot lighter you know, when you take it out, and you can rinse it out, and if you want to throw it in the washing machine, why not, you know, if you're not really happy with it and over dye it. But that's what I think this is going to go on a 40 count. I'm not sure, but that's what I think. Okay. Oh, I love this. Well, I start here. She's starting to say I love. Don't drink alcohol, and every time I say I love something, or you have to go to bed and take a nap. Okay, here we go. Bells on Christmas Day. I wanted to do this, and I know I saw, I believe Olivia B showed a picture of this, and it seems like it would go pretty quickly. I'm going to cover up the chart here because I have shown this before. Like, I want to do it, but I showed the chart. And you can, I got this box, and you can finish it, paint the box, and that actually took quite a while, doing the painting of the box. It's downstairs with something else in it, but I would like to do this and pop that in there. So I don't have the flosses for that yet. I really want to make sure I do get the flosses because they're perfect. So I have that to get, and then a 36 count fabric from my stash. I've actually got some, and it doesn't seem like it would take a very big piece of fabric to do that. Just a couple more here. I love this bag. This is something I made, and Nicola Bumble Stitches has a great tutorial on how to do this finish from mini charm packs. So I created that, and in here is, this is Anna Morgan 1845, and I believe it was Laura the Cereal Starter showed this last year, and I got it. I've had it for a while. I don't have, oh yeah, I do. I have fabric, but I don't have the flosses. So this is something that I'm going to be getting flosses for tomorrow. I have a little a list of things that I'm going to be running off and getting, probably DMC. We'll see. I might have some overdyes that I can use for the blue or the green. We'll see. It's not, doesn't seem like it's a lot of colors, but I think it was over 5 when I looked at it yesterday, thinking I could just pull some of my floss down to play with it. And I went, ooh, it's more than I thought it was going to be. All right, do I have the picture? I do. Sorry for the, there we go. MMEW 1847, and I started this, I believe, last year. I haven't really picked it up in a while, so let me just show you where I am. This is on a 40 count vintage, I believe it's vintage light exemplar by Lakeside. That is my progress. This is the one that I started with all of the called for DMC, and then I just started to change things, and now I'm kind of changing all kinds of things. So let me see if I can pull. It's a crazy mess of floss away bags, and this is before, you know, the great floss drop craze. So everything was in floss away bags for me and bobbinated, and there's all kinds of crazy going on. So that's where I am with that. And again, kind of got a crush on it, but it misses me. Some of them miss me. All right, what's this one? This is, Jane Stanwick's. All right, do I have a picture? Maybe noisy. Yeah. Sorry for the rattling, rustling. There she is. Saw this, I mean, from the moment I saw that, I wanted to do it. I mean, look at that border, so easy. I love the colorful alphabet. I love the big red house. I have a piece of 36 count parchment by Weeks Dye Works, the Zweigart base. Sometimes when I back up, you can really see that's a real true representation of what the color is. So pretty. And these are the flosses. And again, before I started to really use a lot of floss drops, I just doing my own thread conversion. So everything's kind of auditioning still. I haven't really committed to anything other than I love this blue right, where is it? This blue right here is called, I think this is Peacock? Peacock. That peacock blue is so pretty. And that shows up in a few places, the blue. But I wanted it to pop. I mean, the reds, I still don't know. I mean, I love Cupid, is really pretty. Let's see if I can get a good representation. This one is pretty too. This is current, more muted. I'll probably go for the more flashy one. I have trouble like not throwing all the colors on, which I don't know. That's a weakness with me. I love color, and I love the samplers that have a lot of color. Oh, Fox and Rabbit, they have a new sampler. I think it's coming out that has a lot of beautiful, like really vibrant. It's a reproduction, so it's exactly the way the little girl stitched it. They use the colors from the back of the sampler, and it's crazy. And that would have been me when I was 8. I would have been using every single crazy color I could have found, for sure. So I'm still kind of drawn, I'm really drawn to it, drawn to color. And even though I love, and when I do the Blackbird colors, the red pears, and you know, the what's it called, pine needles, and you know, all of those beautiful muted colors, they're so gorgeous when you get them all together. So at some point I need to just always trust the designer. Speaking of trusting the designer, trusting her, because Beth Twist hits it out of the park. This is just beautiful. I have had this going for quite a while. I haven't really picked it up in a while, but it's coming back out to play for Sampler September. And this is on a piece of 32 count Heartland by Picture This Plus. I'm doing the called for flosses, a couple of subs in it, but I just didn't have chickpea, I think, so I used something else from my stash. But yes, can see the borders done. Oof. Oh, I gotta stretch. Makes you stretch sometimes, those big projects. So yay, that one. So I've got Consider the Lilies and His Eyes on the Sparrow. Both of those going. I'm crazy. I know, that's a little crazy, but it's how I roll. That's how I roll. Okay, this one, speaking of crazy, okay, I got the bag making supply from Brenda Gervais, Country Sampler, I believe is Country Stitches online. So I bought the bag supplies, which I've modified and made my own to make it bigger, which I kind of regret doing. I wish I would have made it the way that she told me to make it, but oh no, I wanted to make it bigger. Anyway, so I bought that. I bought the frame that I'm going to frame it in before I even bought this beautiful chart and the beautiful fabric and floss. But it's all kitted up. I think I might be missing one or two of the flosses, but I decided to use the Meredith's Pink, which is the house, and I believe Celeste Creates used that. And this is a 36 count Winter Moon. I got on 1, 2, 3 stitch, and I think that will look just beautiful. Really, really gorgeous. So there we go. Boy, see, I think that is my starts and my plans for now. But I have a couple more. So these are like my morning stitches that are on big scroll rods. That's why they're down here. These are all the hearts, the hands across the sea, and I apologize. Just because of time, I don't want to take them off the scroll rods. I have been stitching on them from time to time, so they stay on their scroll rods. That was the back. Here we go. So this one is Jessie Watson. Let me show you. I should have gotten these all ready to go, but I did not. So that's Jessie Watson. I'm using the Victoria Clayton Silks on this, and this is on a Silk Weaver 36 count buttercream. And I'm doing 1 strand of floss over 2 linen threads. And this is a stitch along with Barbara Raspberry Stitcher and a lot of other people for Autism Awareness Month. We started in April, and she's planning to finish in April. So I have plenty of time. Plenty of time. There's no deadline. And you know, it's all, well, the deadline is April, but we'll see if I'll get there. I will. So yes. That Hands Across the Sea is getting done, and I have this one which is getting done as well. This is Anne Morrison, and this is a stitch out of Traditional Stitches in Canada. Has a stitch along going, and this is on my Millennium frame. It's not that hard to take off, but that's where I am. I just showed this on my last video, so if you want to see it completely unrolled, you can just scroll through. And I got this center vase almost completed. I just need to finish up some of the flowers, and then I can go up and do the little eyelet heart, which doesn't seem like it's really that big after all. You know, at first I felt like it was going to be huge, but I've been doing, this is like the year of eyelet stitches for me, so I think that one should clip along. It's not going to be that difficult. One more Hands Across the Sea, and I should pull the charts, but I don't want to unzip some more bags for you. I don't want to drive you crazy with that. This is Anne Uffendell by Hands Across the Sea. That's where I am. Get a close-up on it. So I just came over here and did this morning, and I started to work on this section here, which is going to be another flower, and it's going to look just like that flower, only it'll be over here. I hope you're seeing it. And this is the Call for Silks that I got through the Attic Needlework in Arizona. I called them up and they sent them right out. So, and this is on a 36 count Vintage Pearled Barley by Lakeside. And there she is, and that's on a roller frame. So there we go. That is it. That is all of my plans for September. And there's a couple more things, like this one. I would really like to throw in the Stacy Nash Stitching Witch Pin Keep, the Good Stitching Witch Pin Keep, and I have a couple of the flosses. I certainly have a lot of fabric, so it depends. I mean, if I get some of my PM stitching, like that, the poinsettia sampler that I'm working on, if I get that done, then I might just start this, and for sure I'll start it in October. So I have a little Halloween stitch. It's fun to have a seasonal stitch going on. So yes and yes. That's what I got. So thank you so much for stopping by to check up on me, and don't forget to check those hashtags on Instagram, and check me out on Instagram. I am at Trinkety. So I will put all of the information that you can contact me through in the drop down menu below, and I'll try to add links. I'm kind of hit or miss with links, but I got some work ahead of me the next couple of days. So check in with me on Instagram and see how I'm progressing, and hopefully I'll be able to check back with you in a couple weeks and have, well, boy, I'm gonna have some stitches done. That's for sure. I'll have some stitching done. Okay, you guys, have a great week. Have a great start to September, and thank you for checking in with me. Okay, love y'all. Bye.